When preparing for a potential collapse, the first and most urgent step is securing your essentials. This means ensuring you and your family can survive for a minimum of 90 days without relying on stores, public utilities, or outside help. The foundation of survival begins with 4 key areas: food, water, shelter, and power. Start with food. You need calories, nutrients, and energy to maintain strength and mental clarity. Stockpile long-lasting, shelf-stable items such as rice, beans, canned meats, freeze-dried meals, peanut butter, oats, pasta, and powdered milk. Don't just buy in bulk. Plan meals that meet daily nutritional needs. Rotate your stock and label expiration dates clearly. Include comfort items too, like coffee or chocolate, which boost morale in stressful times. Water is non-negotiable. FEMA recommends 1 gallon per person per day, but in a real collapse, double that to account for cooking, cleaning, and hydration under stress. Store water in BPA-free containers and invest in filtration systems like Berkey's, Sawyer, or LifeStraw. Also learn how to purify water using bleach, boiling, or iodine tablets. Know your local sources, rivers, creeks, lakes, and how to safely collect from them if your home supply runs out. Shelter is more than just a roof over your head. It's about maintaining a livable environment when utilities vanish. If you're in an apartment, consider window insulation kits, emergency blankets, or solar-powered fans. If you have a house, ensure your home can retain heat in winter or keep cool in summer. Stock up on sleeping bags, tarps, duct tape, and plastic sheeting for temporary repairs or insulation. Have a backup location, a family cabin, a friend's rural home if staying put becomes unsafe. Power is often the first thing to fail. Without it, communication, food preservation, and safety are compromised. Invest in solar-powered generators, hand-crank radios, and battery banks. LED lanterns and rechargeable lights are more reliable and safer than candles. Quote, keep extra batteries and solar chargers. If you rely on medications, refrigeration, or electronics for survival, ensure you have a backup plan. The key to this first prep isn't perfection, it's action. Don't wait for a warning siren or an alert on your phone. Begin now. Build your foundation and you won't just be surviving when disaster strikes, you'll be leading. After you've secured the essential supplies for basic survival, the next critical focus should be building your security and defense. In a collapse scenario, whether it's triggered by economic failure, civil unrest, or natural disaster, law enforcement and emergency services may be overwhelmed, delayed, or absent altogether. This means you are your own first responder. Preparing for your physical safety, alongside that of your family and property, is not fear-mongering, it's realism. Begin with awareness. The most powerful tool in any security plan is your mind. Learn to observe your surroundings, notice patterns, identify threats early, and trust your instincts. Situational awareness can give you precious seconds to respond rather than react in panic. When society breaks down, crime doesn't take a vacation. It often surges. People become desperate, and desperate people do irrational things. Next is physical deterrence. Your home should be hardened as much as reasonably possible. Reinforce doors and windows. Invest in high-quality locks, security bars, and motion-activated outdoor lighting. Create the illusion of occupancy if you leave your home, and consider planting thorny bushes near ground floor windows to deter trespassers. Make it clear that your home is not an easy target. Weapons are a personal choice, but they must be addressed. Whether it's a firearm, a crossbow, or a simple bat, you must not only have the tool but also be trained in its use. If you choose to own a gun, take it seriously. Train regularly. Store it safely. Understand the legal and ethical responsibilities that come with it. In high-stress moments, your ability to stay calm, make rational decisions, and use force only when truly necessary is what defines responsible defense. Build relationships with neighbors and like-minded individuals. Community defense is more powerful than any individual alone. Organize neighborhood watch groups, discuss emergency plans with trusted people, and share contact information. When the grid goes down, local cooperation becomes a lifeline. Isolation may sound noble, but resilience thrives in unity. Don't forget about psychological defense. In a prolonged collapse, stress, anxiety, and fear can cloud judgment. Meditation, prayer, journaling, or other calming practices help build mental resilience. When others lose their heads, you must keep yours. A focused mind behind a locked door is more effective than a panicked person behind a weapon. Security isn't about paranoia, it's about preparedness. It's the recognition that without structure, you must create your own. The calm before the storm is your window to prepare. Once the winds hit, it's too late to start boarding the windows. Financial resilience is one of the most overlooked pillars of collapse preparedness. Many believe that when the system falls, money won't matter. That's only partly true. While digital bank accounts, stock markets, and fiat currencies may falter, barter, hard currency, and real assets gain value. So before the collapse comes knocking, take steps to harden your personal economy. It could mean the difference between barely scraping by or staying stable in a volatile world. Start by reducing your dependency on the traditional banking system. Keep only what you need in digital accounts. Withdraw a portion of your savings and convert it into cash, small denominations especially. In a crisis, ATMs may be offline, banks closed, and card transactions denied. Cash becomes king, at least temporarily. You don't want to be caught unable to buy food, gas, or medicine simply because the grid is down. Next, consider hard assets. Precious metals like silver and gold have withstood the test of time as stores of value. While you won't use a gold coin to buy a loaf of bread, fractional silver pieces or small bullion coins can be exchanged or traded during prolonged financial disruption. These assets don't rely on the internet or a central authority and tend to retain value even as currencies collapse. Bartering is another practical form of financial preparation. Think beyond money. What do you have that others will need? Stockpile items that are easy to trade and in high demand during emergencies: batteries, water filters, over-the-counter medicines, lighters, fuel canisters, hygiene products, and even alcohol. Build your barter bank alongside your food and water storage. When cash becomes meaningless, trade becomes the new economy. Skill sets also become currency in a collapsed economy. Can you fix things? Cook over open flame? Teach? Heal wounds? Grow food? Make or mend clothing? These practical abilities can be exchanged for goods or protection. The more you can do with your hands and head, the less reliant you are on systems that may no longer exist. Begin building these skills now before you need them. Pay off debts if you can. In a collapse, creditors may become aggressive or predatory, and owning your possessions outright reduces your exposure. If you own land or property, understand your rights and how to defend them. Don't assume the system will protect you. Be ready to protect what's yours. Lastly, create multiple streams of sustenance. This may include gardening, raising chickens, side hustles, or crafting items people will need. Diversify now while you still have time and freedom to act. Financial security in a collapse isn't about being rich, it's about being prepared. The goal isn't to thrive in luxury, but to survive with dignity and provide for those who count on you. Community resilience is a powerful but often neglected factor in collapse preparation. In a world obsessed with self-reliance and individualism, it's easy to believe that survival is a solo mission. But history tells a different story. When disaster strikes, those who survive and even thrive are the ones who band together. A strong, connected, and resourceful local network can be your greatest asset when the national infrastructure crumbles. Start by getting to know your neighbors. Not just the friendly wave from across the driveway, but truly understand who they are, what skills they possess, and how you might support each other. In a collapse scenario, proximity matters. Emergency services may be gone, and transportation systems might break down. You'll need people within walking distance who you can trust. Form relationships now so that, when crisis hits, there's already a foundation of mutual respect and readiness. Organize or join a local preparedness group. These can be formal or informal, ranging from weekly meetups to online communities with members in your area. Share knowledge, plan drills, trade surplus items, and discuss regional threats. The more minds and hands involved, the more resilient your group becomes. A lone prepper might have gear and food, but a well-organized community has defense, water access, medical knowledge, and manpower to handle threats collectively. Establish communication methods that don't depend on the grid. Walkie-talkies, ham radios, and even simple signal systems can be crucial when the internet and phones go dark. Everyone in your group should know how to check in, request help, or share information safely and quickly. Don't wait until collapse to figure it out. Practice now. Consider how your group could defend itself. While you should always seek peaceful solutions, the reality is that desperate times can bring out dangerous behavior. Having a shared plan for perimeter security, night watches, and deterrence tactics can prevent tragedy. Train together if possible and respect every member's comfort level with defensive strategies. Community barter systems will also become vital. While you might stockpile goods, someone else may have tools, livestock, or specialized skills. Creating a system of fair exchange, goods for goods or goods for services, keeps your group economically functional even when formal currency is worthless. It also reduces pressure on any one person to supply everything. Lastly, emotional resilience grows stronger in groups. Isolation breeds despair. Community brings purpose, hope, and support in the darkest of times. You'll need others to help with children, elders, medical needs, and emotional strain. Loneliness can kill as surely as hunger. In a collapse, having people who rely on you and whom you can rely on gives you strength to push forward. You're not just preparing for survival, you're building a life raft. And the more people on board rowing with you, the farther you'll go. Water is life, and when systems collapse, your access to clean, drinkable water can disappear overnight. Most Americans take it for granted. Turn the tap and it flows. But in a prolonged crisis, municipal water plants may shut down due to grid failure, sabotage, cyber attacks, or simply a breakdown of infrastructure. And once the flow stops, you have only 3 days, maybe less, before dehydration becomes life-threatening. That's why securing your own long-term water supply must be a priority, not an afterthought. The first step is storage. FEMA recommends 1 gallon per person per day for drinking and sanitation, which means for a family of 4, you'd need 120 gallons just for 1 month. Multiply that by 3 and now you're talking serious storage space. But don't let the numbers overwhelm you. Start simple. Repurpose food-grade containers like 55-gallon drums, water bricks, or even cleaned-out juice bottles. Label and date them. Rotate every 6 months to a year. Store them in cool, dark places to prevent algae or bacterial growth. Next is filtration. Stored water runs out. Rainwater catchment systems, streams, lakes, or even your water heater might serve as backup sources, but all are potentially contaminated. You need a reliable, long-lasting filtration system. LifeStraw or Sawyer Minis work for individual use, but for family or community-level survival, consider a gravity-fed system like the Berkey or Alexa Pura. Add iodine tablets, bleach drops, or boiling as backups to kill pathogens. Never assume water is safe just because it looks clear. Rainwater harvesting is one of the most sustainable options, especially for long-term collapse. Install gutters and a collection system now while materials are still available. Food-grade barrels, first flush diverters, and mosquito-proof screens make a huge difference. Even arid climates, rainfall over time adds up. It's passive, renewable, and incredibly valuable. Don't forget purification knowledge. In a true emergency, knowing how to make a solar still or construct a charcoal sand filter from raw materials could mean the difference between sickness and survival. Print instructions or store them offline. In collapse scenarios, the internet won't be there to guide you. Your brain and what you've trained it to know becomes your best survival tool. Also consider water conservation. In a world without unlimited supply, waste becomes a sin. Learn to reuse gray water safely. For flushing toilets, watering non-edible plants, or cleaning, you choose biodegradable soap. Capture hand-washing water for reuse. Every drop saved extends your survivability. In any collapse, clean water becomes the most valuable resource. You can't eat gold. You can't drink a bug-out bag. Without water, everything else, food, gear, weapons, shelter, becomes meaningless. When the taps go dry, your preparation becomes your lifeline. Don't wait until bottled water vanishes from the shelves or your town issues a boil notice. By then, it's too late. Act now while you still have the power, the time, and the access. Skills are the currency of survival when systems collapse. While gear and supplies can give you an edge, they have limits. Supplies run out, batteries die, fuel is finite, but what you know stays with you. In a post-collapse America, practical survival skills may be the difference between thriving and becoming another statistic. Every American concerned about the future must shift from consumer to producer, from dependent to capable. It's not enough to stockpile. You must skill up. Start with basic bushcraft and self-reliance. Do you know how to start a fire without a lighter? Can you build a shelter from natural materials? These skills, ancient as humanity itself, are rarely taught anymore, but they're timeless. Learn firecraft, knot tying, and basic camp construction. Practice in real conditions. Rain, wind, fatigue. Muscle memory beats YouTube videos when the grid is down. Medical knowledge is another pillar of survival. In a collapse, hospitals will be overwhelmed or shutter. You can't rely on dialing 911. Learn first aid, CPR, how to stop bleeding, treat burns, or splint broken limbs. Take a trauma course. Build a comprehensive first aid kit and learn how to use every item in it. Even basic herbal medicine can be a lifesaver when antibiotics are gone. Know what grows in your region that can reduce fever, aid digestion, or clean wounds. Food preservation is crucial. Without refrigeration, knowing how to can, dehydrate, salt, smoke, or ferment food keeps you fed when stores are empty. A single harvest means nothing if it rots in a week. Learn to turn excess produce into shelf-stable meals. Practice these skills now. Don't wait until the pressure is on. Mistakes in peacetime or education. Mistakes in collapse are lethal. Defense and security can't be ignored. You may not want to think about it, but desperate times bring desperate people. Understand basic self-defense, whether that's unarmed combat, firearms proficiency, or home fortification. You don't need to be Rambo, but you must be able to protect yourself and your family. Train safely, legally, and often. And remember, situational awareness and de-escalation are more important than weapons. Barter and communication are also vital. Learn to fix things. Plumbing, electrical, sewing, even basic mechanics. These are tradable skills when money becomes worthless. And learn to communicate without the internet. Ham radio, Morse code, even flags and signals can keep you in touch when cell towers are dead. Join a local ham club. Practice off-grid communication now. Lastly, develop a mental toolkit. Skills without mindset are like tools without hands. Study leadership, decision-making under pressure, and emotional regulation. Know how to stay calm when chaos reigns. Your ability to adapt is your greatest survival asset. When collapse comes, knowledge becomes power in its purest form. It weighs nothing, can't be stolen, and only grows as you use it. The best prep you can make today costs no money, just your time, focus, and determination. Skill up, because when the world falls apart, the people who know what to do are the ones who will rebuild it.